Movie review time, you cockles! Shit!
It's the Universal classic monster, the Invisible Man. It set up the Universal dark cinematic universe that they're still going to go with. Like the Mummy tanked like hardcore more than Mike will on a Saturday night going down on a man it tanked. But it did anyway. Like, and it sucks, dude, because you know it's unfortunate. Like that was their pioneering kind of film to go out and make their own cinematic universe. Either way, this one redeems himself. It's a good movie. It's a solid movie. It's a great movie. But is it really the movie that we're all waiting for and we're salivating from, and like it's like having sex for the first time? Is it really that much of a good movie?
It was everything. Oh, well, let me put it this way. It was everything. It was everything I wanted the movie to be.
It was good. It just.
I thought the movie was well done. It was fantastic. I think what you're getting at is that it's being a little. It's just a touch. Just a touch. I feel like it's been being overrated a little bit.
Yeah, it's gonna get beat down. Like people are like, oh my god, they're acting like it's the second coming.
Right. But forgetting all that, because people are overrating it. Let's put that out there real quick.
It's a good movie though.
It is a good movie. It's a well done movie, and it feels like. And it's Lee Winnell directing this, and he did Upgrade, and he wrote Saw, and I can feel, because he directed Insidious 3 too. I can feel it coming in my butt. No, I was not gonna say
Jeffrey.
That. I was not. But no, you can feel actually him coming into like his powers as a director. I can't think of a better way to say it. But like, you know, he did Insidious. I think
coming into his own.
Yeah, you can feel him starting to get his own trademarks or whatever, because from the opening of the movie, what I love so much, and this is a non-spoiler review by the way, we won't spoil anything, but from the opening of the movie, it was, dude, the shots were so beautiful.
They were.
The cinematography, really, I know that's not the director, but the cinematography was great, but the framing of the shots was beautiful, the setups, the landscapes was beautiful. Even as the movie goes a little bit along, it gets a little bit predictable, because you know what the story's going to be from the trailers even. Yeah. Like, you get what the story's going to be, and they switch up some things here and there, and there's a twist or two in the movie, but there's a point in the middle where it kind of slows down a lot, and it's very, very predictable. Yeah. It doesn't stay that way, but for like maybe 30 minutes in the middle, that meat portion is a little bit predictable and slow. But he has a way of it's like M. Night Shyamalan films. It's so good to look at, and the camera's work is done so well that you don't even mind it that much, even though you know what's coming. Mm-hmm. And then there's one scene specifically which we talked about, and I'll just say the knife scene that pops up and happens at one point.
That was one of the
shocked me right out of my shit.
That might have been, that probably was the best scene of the film, and they didn't give it away in the trailer, which thank God they didn't, because I feel like what the trailer did, which the trailers were great, and you know, got people hyped up, which is what you're supposed to do with the trailer, but I think it gave away a lot of the film. Like some of the main like scares that happen, some of the more bigger reveals that go on, the fucking trailer showed it. You're like, oh, well, goddamn. Yeah. And I mean, I didn't even jump, and you know, I jump like no matter if it's a fucking car that sounds like from Uncle Buck's station wagon, I'll jump 5 feet if I hear it in the parking lot. But there was none of that. Like I was like, oh, okay, well, I know it's coming. Like I know that part's coming because I saw it in the trailer. Yeah. But that scene specifically with the knife, I didn't see that shit coming from nowhere.
I like, yelped. Ooh. Like, and this is for a Thursday night show in the crowd. I'm predicting this is going to do well at the box office because it was one of the busier crowds I've had at a movie for a Thursday night showing this year, and it's one of the better horror movies that have come out this year for sure. It's high up on the list, but. That scene right there, I was sitting by myself in the theater, and I actually yelped like when that scene, because I was like kind of in a trance, I guess, a little bit, and then the knife thing came up, and then the next scene happened, I went, oh, like it scared me. I went, oh.
You yelped?
Yeah, I went. You yelped? Yeah, I was sitting there calm, and my feet were up, and I went, oh. But nobody else in the theater did. Like normally in those scenes, it's hidden because everybody else goes, oh. But it got me and no one else. So audibly in the theater, I was like, oh.
If you sharted a little bit, it was like when your butthole went Sierra Mist. But yeah. No, yeah, it was definitely one of those. Like, I think the biggest thing about the movie that I love is that the atmosphere and the music. Like, I think the music and the atmosphere. So I feel like that is what sets it apart from. It's not like okay. Let me rephrase it. I'm not saying it sets it apart from a lot of horror movies, because a lot of horror movies do rely on sound and atmosphere building to make it a complete film. It does that, but it makes itself unique in the Universal Studio lineup so far. Like right now, I mean, again, you're only going off the Mummy. Like
Which is just not even really connected.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, that's like following up on like a D average in your junior year of high school and having a straight A student come in.
They gave up on that version of the monster universe, and they haven't actually said they're going to continue it. I think everybody just believes that this is going to be successful, and if it is, then Blum can go to Universal and be like, let me do more, and then they'll work it out.
So, but nonetheless, like, I take that, and I don't even think this is a horror movie. Like, I was telling Mike when we were doing the commentary for Harold and Kumar White Castle, we were doing that, and I was saying, like, I was excited to see this movie, and normally I'm like terrified or petrified to see a certain horror movie. I don't feel like this is horror. Like, I feel like it's a thrill. I don't know what that says about me. It's like the motherfucker stalking and killing his ex-girlfriend that ran away from him. It's like, fucking get back here, bitch, and make me a chicken sandwich. But I don't know. It didn't feel horror to me. Like, it felt more thriller, like a Seven kind of movie.
Thriller horror, though. I mean,
there's psychological horror. Really.
There was enough horror.
But I felt like it was a mystery that was going to be solved, and I knew the guy wasn't fucking like a monster. It's not a poltergeist. It's not a herky-jerky bitch from the sewer. It's none of that stuff. It's just a guy with a really impressive array of toys, and he can fucking turn himself invisible. Now, the thing is, that's always been like, it's like, that's a part of the Universal lineup of their classic creature monsters, right? Like, if they ever do have a crossover, like, he's just a fucking dude. I'm just a dude. Like, there's a Wolfman, there's a creature from the Black Lagoon, there's a Dracula.
There's spoilers to talk about there with how things end.
No, I know, I get that, but it's still, he's not supernatural. Like, he's just a guy. And so, I don't know. But nonetheless, the music, the acting, the atmosphere, it's all well done. Everything about it flows really well. I had a great time watching it. Do I think it's like the most amazing horror film I've ever seen in years? No, absolutely not. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. Like, and no offense to anybody that thinks it is, and that's great. I mean, if your dick got hard or your vagina got wet when you were watching it, that's an A+. But I didn't feel that way. Like, I didn't think it was on the level of like timeless classic. I think it's a solid entry into the Universal recreation of those classic monsters, and I'm happy as fuck that they made it, and they did it a really good way.
I think what people are thinking is, like, it's so easy to expect an Invisible Man movie in 2020 to be, fuck, we're old, in 2020 to be a shit movie. I think automatically, no matter who's doing it and where it comes from, if someone announces, hey, we're doing a Universal Monsters classic Invisible Man, it sounds cash grab, it sounds like it's going to suck. So I think part of that is just people are surprised. But maybe that's it. Maybe it comes from our lack of surprise. Because I knew Lee Winnell doing this from the trailers, the way that they were handling that, where it's her crazy boyfriend who, you know, comes up with,
and she's badass, by the way.
She does a great job.
She does amazing.
Yeah, and she was also in Us. And he does a good job in the movie, and the friend does a good job. All the actors actually in the movie, and more specifically, more importantly, the characters are almost all very likable, except for the people who aren't supposed to be. The couple people.
And I don't feel like they were forcing anything on anybody. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because I know some articles came out, which I fucking hate. Like, every time a movie gets momentum going, some asshole group has to claim credit for it and be like, it's this. They're saying this politically. They're not. Like, it was a good, solid movie. Well, and I didn't even think about it.
That's what's important, though. They are saying that. This movie is about possessive boyfriends or people in general. Well, it is about that, and it is about the dangers of that, and it is about how scary it is. But they're doing it without telling you how to feel about it. They're just putting the movie out there, and it's like, yeah, fucking crazy boyfriends can be scary, you know. And you don't need someone to make a movement behind that. It's what the movie's about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, and so it's actually a testament to that fact that we were talking about earlier in the episode about the Ramiro thing, the subtleties of a political message and not forcing things down people's throats. So I guess in that way they do a good job of showcasing that without going overboard and having a fucking tassel titty that's got saying "men don't own me" going in your face.
It's a hype.
I get you. Yeah. I know where you're coming from. I get you.
It's a hyped up version. It's a hyped up horror version of and it doesn't even have to be a guy or a woman. It's a hyped up horror version of a possessive relationship.
And that's my point. I feel like the victim of the film, who ultimately becomes the hero of the film, either gender can relate to, because we've all had bitches or assholes in our lives, whether it be a male or a female, that have been, or sometimes controlling of that person, and you have to, I've got to break free, but you know, and so mentally as well as physically controlling, and they do it, and they do a great job of showcasing that. So yeah, Johnny Depp, I hope a new movie comes out about him. Fucking that Amber Heard bitch is fucking crazy, and I hope they replace her. But anyway, ultimately, I'm going to give the movie a 7.5. I thought the movie's solid. I think a lot of people should go check it out, especially if you like the classic creature feature films of the Universal days. And they do a really good job, of just bringing that character, which is the Invisible Man, is like I would say one of the harder ones to bring up into, like we were saying, the 2020.
It's so
and
to
so
make it like go off course.
Yeah, and to make it where like, damn, this is fucking kind of creepy. It's really hard to do that. They do a great job of doing that. So yeah, I said it's solid as fuck.
Yeah, I think it was genius to have this to frame the story the way that Winnell did frame the story. And he was even talking about Dracula the other day, about how he would do Dracula, and his thoughts are fascinating.
I hate when you keep on talking about like you fucking hang out with him at volleyball.
I was just reading his article.
Like, oh yeah, Lee Winnell.
I was reading his interview.
We were at Dunkin' Donuts.
We were having the KFC donut sandwich.
Yeah, we were.
But no, the way that they framed the whole story and the way that they took the Invisible Man and they made it a realistic, like almost Batman Begins type thing was genius. And I think that the way that they did this movie was fantastic. It was a really good, really tight thriller horror movie. I actually give it an 8.0. The more and more I think about it, I like it a lot. I don't think it's the second coming of anything. You know, I think people, but it's one of those movies like people go see it and the audience, like as I was walking out and peeing, not in the bathroom, but on my way down the hallway, because this is what I do after a movie. I just pee all over the hallways as I walk out.
Yeah, of course you do.
But no, I was listening to the audience, and it was one of those fun movies because you hear people go, "Oh man, that was fucking fun." So like that scared me and shit like that. And it didn't actually scare me. Maybe it's just like if you've seen enough of these movies, because in the '90s there were a lot more of these horror domestic thrillers. Like that was something you were more used to.
Yeah,
they don't come out that much anymore because they're not tied to a previous IP. But this movie it was a well done movie. I liked all the characters I was supposed to like. The only thing I dislike about the movie is the middle portion of the movie where they've got to do this fucking repetitive thing where you know why they have to do it because it makes sense for the story, but she has to try to make people believe her. But the audience already knows what's happening. Like, we already believe her, but we have to sit and watch her for 30 minutes try to talk people into believing her crazy story.
Right.
And I get that that's a hard thing to write because if everybody just believed her, then it wouldn't make any sense. But there is a dead lag in the middle of the movie that I got pretty bored for about 30 minutes where it's like, oh, you don't believe me? He's right here right now. No, you're a fucking crazy bitch. And, you know, that whole thing.
It's kind of like when you meet a girl at the bar and you both are horny for each other, but you have to do the obligatory, like, you want to go out to fucking like Olive Garden and can I get you some burgers?
In a way, yeah.
Like, look, I just want to put my penis inside you and I know you want me to.
In a way.
Because I know you want me to because you told me that in a conversation. So I'm not like, it's kind of like that.
It definitely is like that. But I also got to throw a shout out to the special effects here because they are done so well. There are certain scenes where glitches, I'll say, happen. And
that's cool.
And yeah.
You know what that reminded me of? That reminded me of, which I thought was so underrated in the Nightmare on Elm Street remake when he was coming in and out of the dream sequence.
The micro naps, yeah.
That was fucking badass, dude, and that's completely underrated. It reminded me of that.
For sure.
It's creepy as shit. It's fucking cool.
There's a particular elongated scene, in the movie, though, that happens, and the special effects...
Oh, you talking about me using my hands, fucking Captain fucking Phasma. You're doing this shit.
I'm gonna eat me a big sandwich in a wheelbarrow.
We gotta control the empire.
On the western end of the plant.
And then go to Valvoline.
But no, I'm just saying, like, there's a glitch that happens. There's his Achilles heel in a way that happens, and the way they do it, that part actually scared me.
It was cool
when it would show partially and shit. Like that actually got me. That's done so good.
Did you jump like in the parking lot scene? That's
part what I'm talking about.
That part got me.
Yes.
Well, because I knew. I don't know if they showed that in the trailer. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure in the parking lot, but I think they might have alluded to it. But I knew something was going to happen. Like, because the coolest thing about this, it sets tension to such a level. Because you know it's the Invisible Man, right? So he's not going to talk and you can't fucking see him, right? But there's no goddamn sound. There's no music. You just hear the fucking rain coming down. You're like, son of a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
Not only do I've been holding my pee in and I can hear rain, and it's starting to hurt. Two, I know something scary is going to happen and force my urethra to expel my urine.
By the way, that hospital scene in the hallway, where shit just like goes buku for a second.
I kind of didn't like it.
Did that orderly not look just like James A. Janice from Dead Meat?
Sometimes I felt like he was way too overpowered. I was like, you know what I mean? He's just a dude. Like, it's a dude. It's dude.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like he's like a big goddamn, you know, he's not...
And he's kind of a little dude,
He's not Lou Ferrigno running around, but, you know, either way. Still a cool movie. Yeah. I don't want to shit on it, so it's a definite movie to check out.
I definitely recommend to go see it. I think they did a great job with it. And again, man, the direction and the cinematography and the feel of the movie, it's all done so well. It's a beautiful film to go look at.
It's like looking at a beautiful mountaintop.
Did that dude not live in Tony Stark's mansion, though? Like, on the edge of the rock in, like, Malibu or whatever, like, the way it looked?
Oh yeah, it does.
It does.
It
was almost like they rid of
Tony Stark's mansion. And actually, when you get the reveal, it's like he stole from Tony Stark.
Definitely go see Invisible Man. Don't believe a little bit of the hype because it's being overrated a little bit, but just a
It's a great movie. It's
right up there with Upgrade. Even maybe a little bit better than Upgrade. Hard to tell.
Yeah, it's probably about the same.
Hard to tell. Domino's
Yeah.
Pizza.
It's good.
Yes.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie.